Ready? Okay. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. If I could get everybody to stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. We're going to do the IBB negotiations with the LEA and the board. And at this time, I will turn it over to Mr. Massey.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Yeah.
How are we doing?
Good.
Made it out of jury duty today?
Yeah, made it out of jury duty.
We're glad you're here.
Yep, good.
No, I'm glad that everybody could be able to make it, and I expect that we'll have a really productive conversation tonight. So I do just want to cover a couple of things before we jump in and get started. It's like we talked about last week in our IBB work session. We're kind of in an interesting situation where we're following IBB protocols, but we have the full board present, or at least a quorum of the board present for the meeting. I really want to make sure that we are protecting the integrity of the outcome of this. And so since we do have a quorum of the board, the advice from our legal counsel has been that we post these meetings as a special board meeting. The reason why it needs to be a special board meeting instead of a workshop or something more informal is because technically, in order for the board to caucus, should that be necessary, that would have to be an action taken by the board to go into an executive session. Okay, and so it's all just kind of some layers of complications there. Operationally, we expect to move forward in exactly the way that we agreed to last meeting, and I think that worked really well. So. Kudos to the team for that, but that's why there's a little bit of an extra layer of formality. With that, I do want to just go quickly through our norms and expectations again, just because that's how we should start these meetings, is make sure that we're on the same page about exactly how we're going to operate whenever we get into the agenda. And so if you scroll to the bottom of the agenda, all of that is linked in there at the bottom. Or listed out at the bottom, excuse me. So starting with the why, by working together with authenticity and transparency as one cohesive unit, we will protect our students, make a positive impact on the lives of others, ensure fiscal responsibility to our taxpayers, support students in finding their passions and talents, providing them foundational skills to be contributing members of society, support staff to fully connect with their passions and talents, ground ourselves in what is best for students, create a win-win environment, have a united front, make decisions that are aligned with the short and long-term goals, interact respectfully, and be willing to address all issues. Our ground rules and norms are to exhibit honesty, integrity, realism, trust, accuracy, respect, and humor, my favorite. Provide open communication in an effort to work toward a common understanding. Assure commitment to the process and to the team. Listen to one person at a time. No speaking out of turn. Do not take things personally. When a decision is made, support the decision. Begin and end the meeting on time. The caveat that we talked about last time was if we all agree that we're on a roll and we want to keep moving, we could agree to that and keep going after time is ended. Stay on topic and monitor your talk time so that all voices are able to be heard. Our standards for decision making. Is it legal? Is it ratifiable and board approvable? Does it positively impact students? Does it meet our interests? Is it equitable and logically feasible? Can the budget support it? Is it understandable and does it improve relationships? Okay. The rest of the process is listed below for reference if we need to get back to that. At this time, I'll turn things back over to the LEA and to the board to get started.
I know last time I think we were close to getting done with all the verbiage in the negotiated agreement, but I don't think we finished, did we? So would that be a good place to start tonight? Or
That sounds great to me.
Yeah, wherever. I'm open.
Yep.
Okay, let's do it.
So this is the one we're working on, right?
The one on the left is the board draft of some of the verbiage that you guys made suggestions on, and the one on the right is where we're going to put the agreed upon verbiage.
Okay. And we made it through. Leave of absence.
I believe we ended with the sick leave bank.
Yep, okay.
Where did that voice come from? What page is that on? That's towards 19.
So at last night's board meeting, we did approve a policy specific to the sick leave bank, that it is its own policy, for the simple fact that it would be appropriate to remove the sick leave bank out of the negotiated agreement, and that changes to the policy would go through the board with the LEA in conjunction. I mean, there wouldn't just be random changes, because the sick leave bank is, it's conditional. So,
What do you mean it's conditional?
well, it's been part of the negotiated agreement, and the LEA negotiates with, it's my understanding, I could be mistaken, but that the LEA negotiates with the district over its management. And I wouldn't be opposed to putting language within the negotiated agreement regarding that.
So you're proposing taking it out of the agreement completely?
Correct.
What's the interest behind it? Like, who are we doing this for?
So I think, there could be language in there regarding the sick leave bank, but as far as the procedure of it, I don't think that necessarily needs to be in the negotiated agreement, just because of like how many pages it's taking up of the negotiated agreement. This is like one of the biggest pieces in the negotiated agreement, where the procedurally that could be placed somewhere else. But I think there should be language in there regarding the sick leave bank, and of course, the LEA working with administration and the board if there's any policy changes that need to be made, and have that caveat in the negotiated agreement.
Yeah, last time we talked about having them kind of cross-reference each other, the policy and the negotiated agreement, that policy won't be changed without input and decision as a collaboration between the board and the LEA.
And then I also had some confusion this year, that's why we had to do some policy cleanup, where I had some classified staff who didn't think that they could participate in the sick leave bank because there wasn't basically a policy on it. It was only in the negotiated agreement.
So to clarify, this is just cleaning up the negotiated agreement, protecting with a statement that now, since the sick leave bank is in its own separate policy, the board would make sure to collaborate with the LEA should any changes be made to the policy itself, but it just will take multiple pages out of the negotiated agreement. Is that correct?
Correct.
Just to clean it up. Okay.
So to be clear, we're not going to take it all the way out, we're going to replace it with some sort of clause or
Yes.
understanding of any changes to the sick leave bank will go through some process of negotiation with the LEA?
Yes.
That's what I
Yes.
understand.
Do we have that
Do we have
verbiage
a
already,
draft
or?
No,
I can email, I can share the document with you guys real quick. I haven't made the finalized revision since it was just approved last night.
That would be great.
Because from my side of things, the teacher side of things, the negotiated agreement is basically the Constitution. And we make the Constitution difficult to change because that's where we put the hard stuff. And so if we're going to change it, it has to be pretty necessary as a result to protect both sides of the agreement. To make it hard for us to change it, but also to make it hard for the board and the district to change it. It's a way to protect one another. And so my concern is if we just take too many things out, and I'm perfectly okay with the idea of putting some kind of a clause in there that says it will be negotiated, but that's the fear in taking things out of the document, is this document represents 30 years of us trying to preserve things for one another. It's where we talk and put the things we're going to agree to.
I don't disagree with that at all, and again, that's why I think there needs to be verbiage in there, but also we have two different sick leave banks. And again, we had classified staff that said, it looks like the sick leave bank is only there's only verbiage in the negotiated agreement, there's no policy at all regarding classified staff. So that's why we came up with it, so it encompasses everybody. And that the procedure is more in the policy on how it's managed versus taking it all up in here. But yes, I definitely agree there needs to be language in here to protect them.
I respectfully, I think if we're going to add language into the negotiated agreement, which there should be, regarding the sick leave bank and the collaboration for changes, we need to mirror that language within the sick bank policies so that it mirrors each other.
So do we need to just have two, is it one sick leave bank or is there one for classified and one for?
There is one for classified and there was one for certified. Classified is based on how many hours a day they work, and certified is based on days.
So then is it necessary to take the certified out? Because I think the fear is that teachers, we give a day and it's protected in the negotiated agreement versus just being changed or eliminated, maybe even by a future board that wants to change policy, where it's protected in the negotiated agreement with the language that's in
That's
there.
why I think you have to have that caveat language in the negotiated agreement.
Yeah, I'd like to work on the language,
Yeah.
see the
I would want
language.
to see what
Right.
need to see the language.
I agree. I think we should see that language before removing anything.
that's the next part.
Well, suggestions, I mean, what would the language look like that you guys would be fine with, you know? But I guess what is your heartburn over the thing, you know, and let's start there and work it out so that you don't have that, right? Because, I mean, you're pretty much covered anyways just by statute. And I know it's in the negotiated agreement, but the statute still holds weight in your guys' sick leave anyway. So I get what you're saying. So if you guys are worried about something, let's start there. What can the language say that would alleviate that?
Well, I think that's the concern is we haven't,
No, I have any language.
there's no,
Right, but I mean, if they
Yeah.
have something, you know, well, it would be a starting point. We're worried about, like you said, so part of the language should be that, you know, unless mutually agreed upon, blah, 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 because you don't want it changed unless everybody has a say in it, right? So it would need to be mutually agreed upon verbiage.
What is the verbiage that was in the policy that was approved last night?
It looks like a lot of it came directly from the statute.
and this is regarding the sick leave bank.
Yeah.
Is there language in the policy last night that states that if there are changes that the board would mutually meet with the LEA? I thought that was
Yes.
entered into the
Yes, it
agreement.
is.
So could
It's
we
in
use
that.
that as a starting point?
They're right here, yeah.
The council will meet in person annually to review the sick leave bank prior to the start. The council will meet virtually to review requests on an as-needed basis. Each council member will submit their vote to HR, who will communicate the decision to the employee.
No, that's just.
Um,
I think that's just to approve whether the days are granted or not.
I'm trying to remember where it was.
I guess the question is, like, how do we know that the standards are, like, if it's just in the policy, is it in state statute that will protect teachers versus, say, an admin, or, like, regardless of the position? Like, if you're being granted, like, if I'm a teacher and I'm asking to use the sick bank, and they say no for one reason, but an administrator or somebody in a different position is granted that. I mean, right now, we're protected because of the negotiated agreement with certain, like if we go to the sick bank and it's a committee that then decides, yes, we're gonna do this, no, we're not just by maybe the board or administration. Right now, it's a group that makes that decision for us.
The policy spells out exactly how the group is.
And it says who the,
It's
like,
who-
okay.
Yeah,
In
it says,
statute, it does.
yeah. No, in the policy that we approved
Right.
last night.
But like the fear is that there could be a policy meeting and then the policies change and then where's the protection then for?
Well, that's where you put that caveat language in the negotiated agreement and mirror that. Like, I'm trying to see if I thought they put language in there.
Yeah, I was looking, I didn't really see, but there's several of them attached to the agenda, and I didn't work on that, so I don't have that, history, that familiarity with,
It does look like if you're on that board's draft that's attached to our agenda, under sick leave bank, it looks like some verbiage has been crafted and is in there that you guys had worked on the board's draft.
What page is that on?
It's on page 13.
Perfect.
Straddles 12 and 13.
So in policy, is there a grievance procedure then if it's denied? Like, or is that verbiage that would have to be in our negotiated agreement? Because right now you could
I would put
file a
that-
grievance?
Yeah, you could put that in the negotiated agreement as well. I'm trying to see, where are you seeing the grievance procedure? Can you direct me to the page? I don't see that.
You see their draft.
Not there. Policy itself.
I don't see a grievance procedure if it's denied in the current negotiated agreement.
I don't either.
policy they're working on last night.
Is that, yeah, has that been that hasn't been updated in the school board
I
yet?
haven't gotten it updated. I emailed it to all of your Lakeland email addresses
Okay,
so
thank
that you
you.
can view it.
Good job, Sarah.
I know you're at the helm today with the controls. This is
I-
going much smoother.
I handed some of the controls over to Randy so I can take notes and multitask.
The stated purpose in the negotiated agreement, that's the working draft for 26-27, is the paragraph that is in the sick bank policy that was approved last night. With the exception of, instead of certificated employees, it is benefited employees. So certificated was struck and changed to benefited.
So I'm wondering, in this case, thinking of the grievance as just the regular grievance process would
Yes.
apply?
Yes.
Because in reading the statute, the bottom line is it says it comes to the board and the board has the right to say yay or nay. So I think a regular grievance process, if it was denied and if you look at 33-12-16 is the actual Idaho statute. It literally says in there that you basically bring it to the board, or the board can deny or say, yes, you can. So either way. So I think the regular grievance process would apply.
Well, we do have a procedure
Yeah.
that, right now, because we have two administrators that are on the sick leave bank committee, 2 LEA members, and then the superintendent is, if there's a tie, is
Right.
the actual tiebreaker. I would say the superintendent would probably be the person for any kind of grievance procedure, would be the next step. And then after that, if they don't agree, then it would be a board thing. But that would be my thought process.
Yeah. Well, we can look at the statute. I don't know that. Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, there hasn't previously been a grievance procedure in the negotiated agreement if it's denied. There just never has been.
Yeah, and it looks like all these statutes have been out there, and it looks like we should have had a policy governing that all this time. I'm looking to see. Yeah, it looks like 2016 was the most recent update, but the statute 33, 12, 16, 17, and 18 all cover that. So it looks like we should have had a policy the entire time governing it anyways, and we didn't, you know.
Well, and the policy specifically says the sick leave bank is administered by the sick leave council, which includes 2 administrators/directors appointed by the board and 2 teachers appointed by the LEA. All members of the council must also be members of the sick leave bank. So it says right in our policy that we approved that there's the council, the sick leave council is made up of 2 LEA members and two board members.
And the
2 administrators.
The sick leave bank was just simply copied out of the negotiated agreement and pasted on its own little policy page, with the exception that HR asked for certificated employees to be changed to benefited employees due to the fact that there are 2 different sick leave banks that are managed in HR.
Yeah.
One's for certified, one's for classified.
But I understand the concern that if another board comes in and changes the policy that takes away the administrative powers of the council, I understand that being a concern, so.
Well, even the draft language that you have in what you've crafted says policy number 5405 shall govern the sick leave bank and be submitted during the interest-based bargaining process to ensure the LEA has the ability to submit any recommendations for modification to the policy. Policy shall be reviewed annually by the Board of Trustees. So if the review and then potential change happens not at the same time as IBB, then it does have that potential to be changed. And then it sounds like then it would come to us at some point down the road when we enter into IBB.
That's the way I read it. I read that.
It's like the timing isn't necessarily have to coincide with a policy change versus LEA has to have input.
It could be changed at any given time throughout the year. It has to be talked about during IBB, but it doesn't say that, it doesn't say anything about the changes have to go through IBB. So, I mean, I think that's what I would suggest working on is, this will be brought, this policy, I don't know what kind of verbiage I'd have to think about it, but I think in order for us to be okay with taking it out of the negotiated agreement, we need to have something in place that kind of protects us as well at any given time throughout the year, if that makes sense.
Yep.
That's kind of my suggestion is, or at least to offer input or. But even then, the LEA can't control the school board in what they decide on any given public meeting. And so even if it's taken out of the negotiated agreement, we in a sense don't have any leg to stand on. But I'm okay with changing verbiage to make it stick, because that's what the negotiated agreement does, if you guys are okay with that. Because I think we are all in agreement that, there's state statute that backs it. There's, what you guys are proposing is also backing it. And we just need to get it right so that all sides are protected.
So I know that it adds content to the negotiated agreement, but who cares if it's 30 pages or 18? If it covers everybody, who cares if there's extra, who cares if we have the entire policy that is the same as what was in the negotiated agreement, smacked right into the negotiated agreement, that policy can't.
And we have to talk about it.
Yeah. Now, if there's something in there right now, and I don't know if there is, but if there's something in there that just talks all about statute and gives all the statute, that stuff can be eliminated. You could just say, we will follow the state statute, and give the number. But yeah, so I guess that's the question. How come? Let's get to the meat of it as far as what's the reason for taking it out? Is it just because it's long, or is there another reason?
It was because we didn't have a policy in itself that identified for classified staff too, so we had to have a policy that identified everybody.
I
And
understand
so but if you guys want to keep all this language in there, that's fine, as long as the management of it is the same for both sides, for classified and certified.
So you want the LEA to administer the classified one as well?
No.
Okay,
No, that's why we have policy. There was no policy. The only thing that was identifying was the LEA for the sick leave bank. We had no policy established to where it showed classified was basically eligible for this as well.
Okay, but our policy didn't change any of the wording. We literally took what was in.
Except for with one exception, we took out certificated and put in.
But we didn't change the administration of the sick leave bank.
Right.
And we didn't specify that there are two separate So the policy needs to come back to the next meeting and be changed to include both sick leave banks, not just one. Because if the point was to have policy that talked about
Right.
2 different classifications of employees, we didn't do that with this policy.
And you're talking at the board meeting, you didn't do that, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even know, we should, just out of curiosity, I'd like some legal input on that, because that actually having 2 is outside of statute. I mean, I guess we could create our own, can we create our own? I don't know. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's sort of weird, it would be, because then is it really equitable? Is it really the same, right? If we are writing one for one and one for the other, it's supposed to, you know what I mean, it's sort of a,
So it's kind of weird because like on the classified, what they donate, the amount of time that they are allocated, if they work 6.5 hours a day, then they're allocated 6.5 hours of sick leave. Where certified staff, they're issued 1 day no matter what, just 1 day.
Yeah.
And that's even and that's for PERSI reporting purposes.
Right.
At the end of retirement, I have to report how many hours on classified staff of unused sick leave do they have left. And then I have to report on certified staff how many hours, how many days of unused sick leave for certified.
yeah. And I guess maybe we can, I don't know if they would have to be equal across. It doesn't say you can only establish one.
Do other districts have, I mean,
So I was looking at
I know
Coeur
that we're not,
d'Alene's,
I know that we're not other districts,
I was just looking at
fully
Coeur
aware of that,
d'Alene's LEA.
They do have sick leave banks as well.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
the negotiated agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and is that verbiage in there that the council will meet in person annually to review the sick bank policy prior to the start of the school year?
That's in the policy that we,
Okay. Because that's a good thing too, because that, you know, that way everybody's on the same page too.
the council will meet virtually to review requests on an as-needed basis. Oh, no. The council will meet in person annually to
Okay.
review the sick leave bank prior to the start of the school year.
Okay,
The council will meet virtually to review requests on an as-needed basis.
okay. Yeah, so maybe we need to update the policy. Number 1, an annual review, and number 2,
Well, the policy has the annual review, but we don't
Yeah.
have a separate,
right, but in that review that we, wasn't there something about IBB, or maybe there was not something, that was I just put something in there that when the policy's reviewed on the annual review, they have to, you know, review it with the council or contact the council or,
in the negotiated agreement, it says policy 5405 shall govern the sick leave bank and be submitted during the interest-based bargaining process to ensure the LEA has the ability to submit any recommendations for modification to the policy.
Okay.
The policy shall be reviewed annually by the Board of Trustees.
right. And then the council also in this one, like what you read, says they have to annually review it. So if everybody's annually reviewing it from the point of getting together at IBB, interest-based bargaining, then I think that pretty much sets it right there, in my brain. It's only an annual review, and it's an annual review. Can you go back up
Oh,
to
yeah.
that? Yeah, there you go.
And that policy has been changed because they separated it out. That verbiage was the sick leave bank, or the sick leave.
Right.
The new policy is 5406. That's
Right.
what it would have to be changed to.
Yeah, but I mean, that language pretty much says it right there, I think. Does that sound fair to you guys, or no, that's not enough in stone? If it's annually reviewed with you guys, we can put this, the council will meet in person. Is that in there?
No.
In that? Maybe if
No.
we put that, the council will meet in person annually, blah, 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 like it says here, somehow worded in there. So basically, the council and the board annually are meeting about this policy at IBB time.
Well, it would be at the time of negotiations.
Right, yeah, that's what it says, at the interest-based bargaining process. But we would sort of meld the two paragraphs together so that it includes the board and the council or the LEA, whoever you want to leave it out. Would that work?
Yeah.
And that way it's annual and everybody's agreeing that we do it at this time and.
For the purpose of clarity, I just want to distinguish between council, which approves the use of the days during the school year, and LEA, who would.
Yeah, whatever
Yeah.
this is the council, but we could take this verbiage, make it say what I'm just trying to move forward.
Yeah.
But even with the policy, like, this just says benefited employees in the policy. So does my day go into the same pot that?
No, and
No.
so
And
that's
so that's where, like, that's not very clear, like you
Well, and
were
that's
saying
what I
in
was
the
saying,
policy.
right?
Yeah,
Our
yeah.
policy needs to be
Right.
And I can
reviewed and
go,
redone.
yeah, if I can go back and do it,
Well,
separate the two.
The personal sick leave policy 5405 spells out that certified employees are entitled to 1 full day for each month of service, and that classified employees are entitled to 1 day that is equivalent to the hourly time contributed. So there is a differentiation on the personal sick leave policy, which is 5405. It's not necessarily, the sick leave bank is the bucket, and the personal sick leave gives instruction on how you are receiving sick leave.
But
That's how you
But we have
approve,
we have separate buckets, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Correct.
not,
Right.
so, I don't know,
She's
is
saying
that
that's-
clear in the statute?
She say it's identified in 5405, it's identified the two different pots.
Right.
I
So
don't,
where
I don't
is-
think that that's accurate. I think that that just talks about how they're accrued,
Yes.
not where they're living as a sick leave bank in two separate buckets.
Because I think the concern would be, I'm putting my days into the sick leave bucket, and then we have someone else, anyway, that is not equivalent to me taking out days, but what they're putting in is not equal, like if I need to take out, anyway, it's not gonna come out right.
Yeah, just.
We
needs to
do
be
have
separate.
two distinct buckets, and so maybe we should identify that in this 5406. It is two, I have two distinct banks that, I mean, when we.
Right. And even, I know it makes more work, but maybe even in 5405, although it already says if you're this is how it is, and if you're this, but maybe in there, instead of saying sick leave, call it the actual sick leave bank, because that's where it's going. I don't know, maybe make both.
Well, because sick leave, that's just how an individual person
Right.
receives their sick leave. It's not
Yeah, oh, it is
talking
in there.
about the bank.
Yeah, it is in there, I'm sorry. It has its own, the bank is in there.
I know that we're not really discussing policy, but perhaps at the beginning of that policy, there's just one sentence that says, a sick leave bank will be established, or has been established, or is established, or 2 sick leave banks have been established, one for classified, one for certificated employees. Just like a clarifying sentence saying that there's 2, because the policy itself, which was taken out of the NA, actually talks about how the days get, the amount of a day that gets deposited for each classification. Not necessarily for each classification, but it says full-time employees get 1 full day deposited. And that the deposit is then commensurate with their hours of accrued sick leave, and 1 equivalent day. It says like 0.5 and 0.8 FTE.
I think
To be
saying 2
deposited.
separate banks will be maintained.
Maintained.
One for classified and one for certified. But I don't have any heartburn over leaving the sick leave bank in the negotiated agreement. Like I said, who cares if it's 18 pages or 30 pages? You know, if we have to just say, as spelled out in this policy, this is how,
Yeah.
how the bank will be administered.
It doesn't matter. Put it in there.
Yeah.
Put it in there. Leave it in there.
But we do need to change policy. We
Right.
do need to change
Yeah.
our policy. That's.
So would a good thing be you guys work on changing your policy and then we come back to this and
That, yeah.
maybe change this verbiage? I mean, do you want to work on this verbiage tonight or do you want to do a draft? Do you want to draft something up of your own and present it, or do you want to work on it together? What?
If all of the language is staying in the negotiated agreement, is this verbiage even necessary?
Yes, right.
Like, I think we might,
Yeah, I
just
think-
move on.
Yeah. I agree.
Do we?
Yeah.
We do need to identify the sick leave bank then with the policy number, because we often will change things in the negotiated agreement, but then it's going to be requiring to update policy. And if we don't do that, or if we update the policy but it's not mirrored, that's going to create its own headache.
So
Because you're
add,
going to have conflicting basis. You'll have a policy and then you'll have something in the negotiated agreement. And if they're not parallel, it will create a problem.
Yeah, that's a good point.
so add 5406 reference also to the negotiated agreement.
Yes, because we will, when it is in negotiations, we're going to have to reference and make sure if things are changing, they're changing unilaterally, not just in one or the other.
5405 and 5406, because one is how it's
Yep,
administered and one is how it's accrued.
right.
So it's all encompassing.
Yeah.
But the sick leave bank is governed by 5406.
Right.
Personal sick leave governs personal sick leave.
Oh, yes, the new one. I'm still thinking the old one had it all together.
And I think the old one did have,
Yeah,
no,
it had-
it didn't have anything for the bank.
Yeah, it did right here.
Okay.
It
Oh,
had
just the-
several, right here, this whole section all the way down is nothing but the sick leave bank. So 2 pages.
And that's 5405.
The old one, yeah. See, regular
Okay.
sick leave is just this few paragraphs, but the sick leave bank was pretty detailed. Okay, what's next?
So we want that to be in, because the only thing I changed was the board draft one. So I need to
Okay.
put this, we weren't gonna use this except the policy that governs it.
Yeah, I think Michelle was saying both of them, but if they've been split apart and one's not relevant, then I guess we just use the 5406.
Yeah. But where do we want to put it in our actual?
Maybe put it right before the sick leave bank, like right before the purpose, just as.
Just that kind of a,
Yeah. Because you just want it as a reference, so you remember to go back and change stuff. It's just there, so if we change it in the NA,
Yep.
we can also remember to change it in policy.
and we're doing red.
I believe so.
Just the one above that one. Yeah, red's what we did up there.
That's not as easy.
Yeah, and.
Bill's got a big
And
head.
you want Randy.
It's just hard to go back and forth. I'm good.
Glad you said you.
I'll get there.
It's okay.
I know, I have a really fat head.
It does
That's
have
great.
brains in them, some brains in them.
Let's put
You
this all
always had a big
together.
head.
Yeah, where is like changing the color of the text?
I have to drive, I can't.
Can't talk it, yeah, I get it.
I have the mouse too.
She
Yes.
knows all the street signs in there.
Yep,
Go down.
yep. Turn at this store, yep. There's gonna be a tree that's like really weird. That's where you turn.
There's 3 dots up there. We're gonna do some thumbs up for this stuff, don't we?
Mhm.
You missed the D.
Thanks for the catch.
Yeah, you're
We have a
welcome.
lot of backseat drivers.
Everybody's a comedian. Yeah.
Good on that one?
I got kicked off the train. Wow.
Ramona, you had suggested changing some verbiage on there that sounded good. I don't know if.
Oh, that was-
Did we agree to do that or not do that?
No, because we left it all in, so
Yeah,
it's a
okay.
moot point now.
Okay.
Did we
We got a little.
officially thumbs up that situation?
Yeah. We have
The
it.
situation.
All those in favor?
Michelle?
What? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I was reading.
Where would you guys, I'll try and jump between 3 computers, please be patient with me. Where would you guys like to go next?
So let's just keep going down the,
Yeah, next is teacher workday description if we're going in order.
and I think we're working with our IEA executive peeps to, as far as the workday is fine, but we're gonna have to throughout, you know, when we come back and talk about the, you know, the anti-union bill or whatever that passed, we're gonna have to, we may do some changing to
Right.
this. I mean, I know it's still the 7.5 hours, but ultimately, we may be having to come back to that. And we should have that language, and then I can start sharing that with you
We can
guys.
work on it.
Yeah.
Have they given you any idea of what those changes are gonna look like yet? What they would recommend?
Not officially, no. Just some talk. But I know they have it, and they're getting close.
So should we just skip over that for now then until we get that language?
We kind of skipped over dual credit. I don't know if we want to go back to that one,
We're just trying to get to the bottom.
or we're just going to the bottom. Okay.
Because that really involves money too, and so we wanted to kind of try and get through all the verbiage stuff, and then we can go back to.
So
Did we
we
want
have
to talk
teacher
about
workday.
the B section of the sick leave?
No, it's like,
You're okay, all right.
can you scroll up just a little bit? Yeah, where all the crossed out stuff is, that's, or just.
Are we still looking at teacher workdays? So.
I think we're on prep time now.
Prep time, yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where everything is on both documents.
Right there.
Right below.
That's on the page break.
There we go. Kind of weird. Thank you.
did we need to change anything in here? Or-
That's what the red and,
The red on the left was the board's draft of revisions. And the one on the right is where agreed changes are going to end up.
So it's basically look like just easier to read.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
The language looks fine, doesn't it? So what's,
The board's draft of the language?
I think
Or the
so.
current language?
For the-
it's just clarifying a few things, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to accept that so we can keep moving on.
Yeah, one question real quick. So Kelsey, if we go down to, I know you can talk about this, so I know it's, when it talks about the sped teachers not being able to do that, have you had any issues with not being able to give special ed preps, or
Thank you.
is there anything, I guess what I'm asking, is there anything that we need to change to make life easier for you and our sped teachers on prep time here?
No, I mean, there's quite a few teachers that don't get prep time, especially in those life skill classrooms, but I thought there was some wording maybe that we were gonna change it. We were uncertain why the special ed was pulled out of it, though. It's the same thing.
Because we have, I think that part was taken out just because of the fact that we have other positions that are receiving prep stipends, not just the sped.
In the fact that SPED had its own paragraph was a little bit confusing because it made it look like
Yeah.
the following bullet points
I agree.
only applied to
Yeah.
SPED.
Good. yeah.
And so that's why the red language is added above, just to clarify that if the certified teacher is a SPED teacher, there's just one more layer in the approval process.
Which adds the federal programs director down there.
Yep.
And then what it says, the federal programs director, this isn't the board's suggested changes, the federal programs director to determine what options that are available based on the current weighted caseload. What are some of those options, do you know? Like if they don't get a prep, what have we been doing in the past?
So the reason why that's in their weighted caseload, for instance, if we had multiple students or multiple teachers in a building, maybe that we would, instead of a teacher particularly teaching only 6th grade, maybe they would have that group, so then they would give a prep for that. So if the caseloads were weighted,
Okay.
so like at, Lakeland Middle School right now, if they weren't even and there happened to be someone who could teach an extra to give a prep, instead of saying, hey, I'm gonna pay you on your prep, when we
Right.
know this teacher has maybe only a classroom of a few students in it.
Okay, that's good,
So,
thank you.
looking at the pay for working through your prep, that has dropped significantly from where it was a long time, like, so this is for the whole year, like, so you divide that in half if it's each semester, if someone's working on their prep.
It was 85.
Yeah, it was 85, and before that, it was a
86.
percentage of what?
Well, the number we did was based on 55 minutes at the elementary was based on a 35-minute prep. That's the percentage of their day based on a daily rate of pay. So that's what we were going with. And then the number for secondary was based on a 55-minute, so 1/5 of the day. And it was 1/5 of like the first year teacher's day.
And so in the current
Over-
negotiated
over.
agreement, it's 86.50 for
Right.
secondary.
That's a lot less. And it just puts everybody together, secondary and,
Yeah, I'm not. Do you know why
is
that
this
was
only
changed?
talking about, I mean,
I don't remember how,
Yeah, I think it was because they couldn't
How that
figure out
figure
what the
was
formula
calculated.
about how they got to that. And so then they saw the verbiage down here. I think it was, is it $35 to teach or to sub on a prep?
36.
So it was like 36, and then I think is $36 times 190, is that what that 6,840 is?
Yes, that's what that is.
Is there a reason why it's highlighted?
Because it was a change.
Yeah, that's a change.
Yeah,
It used to
that's a
say
major change, yeah.
8660.
As opposed to just made red?
I had asked how we came up with it. And we had discovered that that's how we came up with it. We took the $36 and multiplied it times 190. That would be, one extra hour for 190 days.
I made it red, now it's highlighted red.
That's a good catch.
I guess the question, I mean, wouldn't we save money if we could pay teachers to teach their prep in the long run versus having to hire more teachers?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's a huge,
Well, because that $8,650 is based on 1/5 of I think it was at the time a third-year teacher, but now it would probably be less than our first-year teacher gets on the salary scale because we changed it. So,
Yeah.
because they would teach on their prep every single day. Like, we have a person teaching through their prep currently at Timberlake High School, and he is a veteran teacher, so if we were actually paying him 1/5 of his daily rate of pay times 190 days, it would be a lot more than $8,650. But you would also, to replace him with a full-time teacher, even if it was a half-time teacher, you would be paying a significantly more money for a half-time teacher versus one prep. So, I mean, we set it pretty low when we did this
Yeah,
a few years ago.
and I think that was based on the median salary of the district. I think that's where they came up with
Yeah.
that, plus benefits.
The 86 or the $36?
The 86.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the $36 is like 2 times the amount for a sub.
So they're two different, they're completely two. One's based on sub pay and the other one's based on salary. Teacher stuff.
And I think originally it was $18, and we changed it to 36 because it was,
we were having a
by
hard
the time
time.
you get it, you don't have enough money to buy a cup of coffee. I mean, coffee's expensive, don't get me wrong. It was-
Jason, I don't think they include benefits on that because we would pay benefits on top of it anyway, so I don't think we
No,
would have
is that
included
not-
that, no.
Okay. So,
To the point made about it being less expensive than hiring, I will say that whenever the administrators meet at the beginning of each year to look at enrollment and class sizes and make sure that we have enough coverage to ensure that kids can earn the credits they need to earn, this is a solution that we lean into to avoid hiring additional people. And it's used pretty regularly.
yeah, because you hire somebody, I mean, you think, the average person coming in, with benefits is gonna be $75,000, $80,000, half-time's gonna be 40, so 8,000's a lot better than paying 40, so even if it's half-time.
So if we hired a sub to come in and cover, how long is the prep, 55 minutes? How much would that be?
If you have a sub that covers it.
Yeah, just so.
Yeah, they're a half-day sub, so it'd be 110 divided by 2. If it's a long-term sub, it's 120 divided by 2.
60.
So what is that then? What would that come out to?
10,800.
10,800? So we would pay a sub more than what we would pay a teacher who's certified.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would we?
So,
Yeah.
I'm fine with all these changes. I would like to propose, my brainstorm is put it back to the 8660 and call it good. That would be my suggestion.
Right, so how did we get to the 8660? Is that what you said it was, Jason?
8650.
Oh, 50.
Yeah, at the time when we did that, I think we took, and Jessica, I can't remember if you were
I
here.
wasn't
Yeah,
here,
I don't think, I
no.
think it was Brian Wallace that did it, but that was like, I believe it was the median pay of a certified teacher in the district, and so we divided that down per day. But like Bill said, that would definitely probably go up by now, but
I have no problem leaving it where it was.
and then it all, well, and sorry, it also, in the old agreement, it talks about.
You're gonna talk yourself out of it.
Sorry.
Let's just.
Okay, so we'll
I'm kidding, I'm
pay
kidding.
elementary the same for 35.
yeah,
that's true, yeah.
We're trying to help
We
the
might
district here, I
wanna
guess.
go back to the old.
The elementary in the original one is 5,500 because they only have their 35 minutes instead of 55, so.
That's a good catch,
I
Jason.
reversed the math that we did. It was on a salary of $43,250. If you divide that by 190, you get a daily rate of pay. And if you divide that by the 5 periods people get paid to teach at the secondary level, you get $45 times 190 equals $86.50. So it's based on the salary that is
Entry-level salary.
archaic. It's less than that.
So it's less, so we should really up this, is what should happen.
For a cost control budget year.
Well, what should be understood is when you're paying someone, especially a veteran, $86.50 to work through your prep, the district and the school system is getting a deal.
Definitely benefiting from, yeah.
For sure.
What is the current low?
The current low is
Current starting.
$50,384, so if you do 20% of that, it's $10,076.80.
Yeah. And again, most of the time, the people who get asked to work through their prep are not the first.
Oh, I fully understand that, yeah, I just was wondering
So it's
where.
$1,426.80 increase.
And how many do we have working right now? I don't think there's very many.
On the prep,
Yeah,
I probably had at least 10 this year,
10 people.
maybe 12.
At the secondary, or is it elementary?
No, I had middle school, yeah, and high school, and,
During special education.
yeah.
There was a handful for sure.
But if you think about that, even at 10, even if it was $10,000, that's one teacher.
Yep, that's
Salary
what
and
I, yeah,
benefits.
yeah.
I mean, at $100,000.
And you would have had to hire 2 teachers to teach those 10 preps.
The tricky part is they're not all in the same building.
No,
Right, and that's, yeah.
I get it, I'm just,
Yeah, no, I totally understand.
This could be something that if we could agree to leave it or come back to it after we deal with all the other money issues. And if there's maybe extra money or something we want to look at,
Extra money.
then we can look at it, or,
I think at the bare minimum, we need to keep it status quo because it has
Yeah.
saved us money.
Yes.
Yep.
hey, Jessica's got big pockets over there.
You're hilarious.
look at all the candy.
Yeah, see the
The candy was purchased by Brooke out of her own pocket.
So this is all private donation.
Don't see that candy in my house.
This is, I
What kind of
have to
candy
keep,
do
I
you have in your
have
house?
to keep Jake happy because Butterfingers are his thing.
I will say all of the free candy this year too came out of private donations as well. Yep.
Jason, I think that's a great idea. We'll come back to it. Right now, I would at least agree to leaving it exactly the same as it is.
Yeah, I think so too. I think to leave it what it was,
Yeah.
right, because we already know what that cost is.
Yeah.
You know, and all I remember from our time down there, the road show was flat, everything's flat, it's all flat, flat. I mean, I
Which
should've
is
got
Yeah,
a
which is
t-shirt.
really a decrease, yeah.
Well, and is there, I don't know if it would go in the negotiated agreement, but, I mean, we've had over the years teachers willing to teach during their prep and then told no, and then we end up hiring a whole nother staff member. I don't know, is that, we just leave that up to administration to kind of,
Yeah, I mean, we want to follow the procedure as it's laid out.
Yeah.
And the first step is not teaching on a prep stipend, it's hiring. And so we want to make sure that the principals have that autonomy to do what's best for the schedule of their building.
we're just looking at like trying to be, if we need to tighten up our budget, is that a way like to, is there a way to encourage,
Yeah, I mean,
if that's a possibility? I mean, we don't want that to be a norm, but I'm saying in a budget crisis.
Yeah, that
that's
process
gonna
would
save us
take
money.
place outside of the negotiated agreement whenever the administrators do meet to look at enrollment and class sizes at the beginning of the year. In fact, that's a conversation that we had this year, is, hey, here are our hotspots, we can afford this many FTE, what are we gonna do about this, this, and this? So, great idea, and I do think that there's a process for it right now.
So Sarah, are you okay with keeping the verbiage changes, but then adding the other caveat or the other?
I don't know if I'm okay, guys. Give me a second.
Okay.
Sarah, you're doing great.
Yeah.
I'm not, but you're very kind.
Can I just shut down everything?
Nope,
No?
I think you're fine.
no, we don't want to take out the students with disabilities one on
Yeah,
that
so
one.
leave all the red,
Sorry,
we just
I
gotta add back
misunderstood
in.
what-
Okay. So this part here?
No, go
No.
down. Right there.
So these pieces,
We'll stay.
Yeah, everything is staying, so on the board side, I think we said we're going to go back, right? Is that correct, the 55 and the
Yeah.
86?
So the last two bullets on the right-hand side.
Yeah,
Those will stay the
Okay.
same.
right there on Michelle,
Need to be
it has her.
thank you,
cursor.
Michelle.
You're welcome.
So you shouldn't have to change.
86 pages.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change it.
Well, I just couldn't tell if someone was making it.
Oh, gotcha.
And Michelle, you're the best. Thank you.
Don't know about that, but thanks.
I can see one part of the screen over there except for a reflection part, but I can
Oh,
see it over
sorry.
here, so I'm trying to figure out where I'm looking.
But that's only for special education?
No.
No.
No,
That's
that's why we took some of that, struck some of that out because it was specific to special education, and actually we have other teachers
I think
outside of that we provided to.
on the board side, there is a paragraph right before the bullets.
That's the
following-
part I was getting stuck on here.
The following options are to be considered by the principal and/or the federal programs director.
Oh, yeah, that's
That
how we
does
want
not
it.
exist in the other one.
Right.
Right.
That would clean up that this does not just apply to special ed teachers. but
Right.
it
Do we
applies-
And that's why we had done it when we
Which
we
I-
were reviewing it to
Do we need
to look at
That
it.
it read
the
like it
paragraph
only
above
applies
it
to
as well?
special ed.
Yeah.
Strike through. Yeah.
So strike,
Sure.
but do you need the paragraph above it that's red as well?
And that's, I think, this is what I was trying to figure out in real time, is if the paragraph above it needs to be in there still.
This paragraph.
Yep, to clarify.
And this shouldn't be in here.
Right.
If everybody agrees.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I mean, now that we have the dollar amounts corrected, you could probably just take the whole section and move it in there.
And paste it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Starting from when it is determined.
They don't match exactly.
Well, the clarifying red language was added because if it is specific to a sped teacher, then it's just not the building administrator that gets involved, it's the federal programs director as well. Are we saying that we're not going to do that, that we're just gonna let the building administrator make decisions with certified staff, whether they're sped or not?
No, that's why I just changed it.
No, that was when the question came up of whether we would encourage
See
working
the
through
A
prep
over left one. No, next
as
to the other line.
opposed to hiring another teacher.
There you go.
And Jake clarified that we always look to hire the teacher instead of just working through the prep. And the person making that decision, they do delegate that to the building principal.
Okay, so we colored it this pretty rosy color. Why? I'm just trying to get myself caught up. I'm sorry.
Because in the working draft, it didn't exist in the working draft that we're working on as a team tonight. So I just moved it over from our board draft to the working draft and made it red because it didn't previously exist.
I thought it was on. Oh my Lord. Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the.
It just read different. That's why it's left below, but it's struck out.
Oops.
Oh, hello.
Oh, no.
Welcome, Jeff.
Okay. So did we, I mean, I think we all agreed to it, but
Are
we
we ready
didn't
to
all.
thumbs up? Do we need a moment to look at it?
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay.
Oh, so it wasn't the right one.
That one ticking here.
So confusing.
Can I be seen and heard?
So since I believe that's resolved, where are we moving to next?
They're looking over
We're
it.
gonna vote first before we move on.
Oh, I thought we did.
Nope.
We
I
talked-
gave a thumbs up.
We talked about it and then we wanted to hold to review for another couple
Oh,
of
gotcha.
And blocked.
On the first line of the prep time where it says all teachers will be granted one prep time each day equal to uninterrupted minutes for elementary, but it doesn't give a number.
Oh, it says 35.
It used to say, but it struck through for some reason.
That was me.
Oh, it was
Oh, does it say it's not struck through over here?
on their working
Are
draft,
we on
not
the working
ours.
draft or on the board's draft?
I'm on the working draft.
Where is
The
it?
working draft? Which one are we on?
Yeah.
Same A.
Oh,
Go to format
that is good.
and then text.
Alt-Shift-5.
It does, Alt-Shift-5 doesn't work on the keyboard for whatever reason, so.
This one's dumb. Somebody reprogrammed it.
If you had a fifth grader, they'd figure it out real fast.
Our prep
Did
time-
anybody bring a fifth grader in their pocket?
Can you
Jake,
check
our-
and see if the shift lock is on?
Jake, our prep time's still 35 minutes
Yes.
at elementary?
They are, yep.
Good job. So then what is? Okay.
I don't see a should.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe, I don't know.
That's for Dave. We're gonna get you a big thumbs up, phone finger. Cause you picked the thumbs up.
I just got rid of my pink one from last
Good
fall.
idea.
Yeah.
With all the T-Mobile stuff.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
You can think how.
Are we ready to
Thumb
vote?
hurts. My thumb hurts. It's because of-
Does it say what you want it to say now?
Yeah.
Does.
Okay,
Good.
Okay.
awesome.
Thank you.
All
Yep.
All right.
Moving on.
All right, next section. Emergency closure days or delayed starts.
I don't think anything was changed.
How's you guys on the board and district, and how do you like the option for the 2-hour delay?
It's a great
I mean, I
option.
think we've only used it once or twice,
Yeah,
but.
like twice.
It's a great option.
Do you like having the option?
It prevents us from being behind a school day. Like, we still have enough instructional hours to count that as a school day, but we're still able to safely run and operate.
Yeah.
It's been a great option. Inconvenient, I'll admit, but
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you guys getting inundated with phone calls and emails.
It'd be interesting.
Oh, you haven't had to use it
Probably
all
no
up.
more than
Yeah.
calling a full snow day.
Back in my day. we
It'd be
used
interesting to track those days, and maybe you are doing this, but to see what the attendance is actually on those days when they first come in, and then are we actually losing money on that day by having school, where we should have just canceled?
sure.
And I don't know if that's, I mean, might be something to track.
Do you guys remember when the last time we called it? Was it last year or 2 years ago when we had it?
I think we,
2-hour delay.
It's been a
boy,
while.
it all runs together.
Did we do it once? Did we do it? No, we did, and then it changed to a whole day, right? Isn't it? Isn't it this year? At one point?
We did.
No, wasn't it gonna be and then we
You're-
pushed it out? Am
You're
I
exactly right.
remembering
We
that?
did start with a 2-hour
Right.
delay and then modified it after about a half hour to be.
I think it was 2 years ago where we did the first 2-hour delay. I think it was 2 years.
We only did it once or twice.
Yeah.
I did twice. I would have to make my reports that I sent to the state.
Yeah, is it tough for them?
Yeah, I just something to consider. I think transportation needs to be part of that conversation.
Oh.
Right. Just switched it.
Yeah.
Just comment for the general good. There were some changes on the board's copy for class coverage that we did not move over
Oh.
to.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good,
that's a great
good
catch.
catch there.
We were all so eager to move on.
Good catch. Well, we just moved on from, yeah.
It's a great catch.
Are we gonna is that all right to copy over, or?
What was the,
Yeah.
what's the concern?
They just added a couple words in red.
So approved, for an approved activity, and instead of saying per, it was for each occurrence.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm fine with them. I just didn't want them
Yeah.
to get
Right,
missed.
yeah.
I think when you guys were talking about this in the board meeting, you were confused about when this gets used, but it gets used like when we can't find a sub is usually when this happens.
Yep.
So we have a sub.
I think the conversation, was, I do vaguely remember talking about this, and we're like, well, what kind of activity, or what?
Yeah.
So I remember saying, well, what if you had to run down to,
Yeah. But or what the other time it happens is like the spring sports, because we just miss the end of the day all the time.
yeah.
I mean, are we counting then a sick day as an approved activity? Because I mean, a lot of times, like, we're covering classes because we can't find subs.
Right.
So
I don't know, just put the word
So I don't know
approved
if-
in it. It could be, I don't know, you guys decide what activity is, I don't know what that is, as long as it's approved. I mean, it could be anything, I guess. I mean, nothing
The
else
whole,
changed.
the
in
whole
it.
point was that it was, it's just approved by the principal, not just somebody, I need to go to this activity, so I'm gonna do this, just as long as it's approved.
Oh, like if I just want to be like, I need to go.
Get my nails done.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a
Probably
lash
shove it in your
appointment. Could
appointment.
you cover me? You'll get paid.
But now if it's a
$25.
Well, I think that was the, yeah.
But if I get it
Yeah, as
approved,
long
then
as
okay.
it approves it.
Judy, do you approve my lash appointment? That's fine. So good.
Class coverage
We're
good?
good?
Okay.
Okay.
From the LEA's perspective, were there any concerns about the 2-hour delay?
No. Not really. I mean, you always hear a little bit, but
Yeah.
Then your PERS.
But then I've also heard that, I mean, we've had people on our line that would prefer that.
Yeah, I know.
It's nice, like versus having to make up minutes.
I look at those days, they're no win situation for
Right.
you guys calling those because, I mean, even the one that happened this year, the win didn't start until later. And so we did have some secondary teachers already at school, you know, and so they were like, well, why didn't it get called earlier? Well, the win didn't start until 5:30, 6 o'clock, so it's
That was
just,
a tough one.
yeah, there's no win, but,
From my perspective, it's nice to have options.
yeah.
It should be
Yeah, teacher work day.
down next to
Yeah.
normal text. See normal text and then 3 dots to the right. There you go.
Because we have trimesters, that makes sense. It doesn't significantly change anything.
So nobody is requesting changes for the emergency closure days?
No.
No.
Okay, so we're good with that. We're moving on to teacher work days. And you said that
We're waiting for guidance on what I thought.
okay.
From what?
I thought you said you were waiting for guidance,
Yeah.
further guidance on it.
Well, this
Or not
this
for
is a
teacher
little
work
bit.
day.
This is
No.
just about
This
for
is about-
emergency.
Yeah, this one's good.
Or for the end of term stuff.
So this section doesn't define working hours in the day, it's
Okay.
days in the year.
Yep.
And you change quarter to term because elementary is trimester
Yep.
and
Correct, yep.
secondary is not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Are we required to do these types of drills? How often?
Did you want to talk to what is the vision on that active shooter drills?
Because we've had active shooter drills that took like a whole day away. And so that would be one of those interrupted on a teacher work day.
Yeah, and there really isn't a formal schedule for whenever those are done. We just know that whenever the district does decide to bring in a trainer, we try to get everybody up to speed in the same year. And that's really difficult to do with such little professional development time. So that's why I believe years ago this was added in as part of the agreement, that would be the one exception. I can tell you that we don't intend to lean into this heavily, just like we haven't in the past couple of years. I'm aware of a few instances when it's been used just because that's when an instructor was available.
Right.
But
And that might all change with the team being formed between the 3 districts, it might change if they have something where everybody can share in it, or, you know, for the crisis
Sure.
response.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
all being reworked, so who knows what it'll look like in the future once that happens.
Yeah, we could have some increased availability for those
Right.
trainings to take place. Yeah.
Okay.
The language that we changed within the one that the board had worked through, specifically the certified teacher work days identified in the district calendar each year, the Thursday prior to school starting, and end of term work days were because elementary is on a trimester where secondary has quarters and semesters.
Correct.
Yep.
So we changed that language specific for that.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
We ready for thumbs up?
Michelle and Jeff. Thank you, sorry.
So
I don't know that Jeff does
Okay.
the protocol, does he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was
oh
here.
yeah,
he
he was here for the
last
other
time.
one, yeah. Or Jeff, that's right, so he's just following along.
It is always really difficult to hear whenever
Yeah.
you're on. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's it. Let's sign it,
Done.
Michelle. We're done.
Done. Rock and roll.
are we?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you
Oh,
didn't,
come on.
you didn't see my edits up there, apparently.
Jason, very well. $1 million.
Okay. All right. Can we, just so that we're really clear, can we note the things that we could possibly come back to now that we're at the end of the negotiated agreement, just language?
Yeah. That's a good idea. Everything they're waiting on for their verbiage.
Certified.
And we had some,
You just want me to go down and read them, like the ones that we missed?
Well, we know that we have the financial pieces to go through, but I'm thinking like we're waiting on language from
Teacher
the
work
IEA
day.
on teacher workday.
Yeah, descriptions, or building work days, I guess.
Or hours, yeah. Contact hours. Mm.
Okay. And then we'll possibly revisit the stipend amount for teaching on a prep. Okay, was there anything else?
was there anything from last time that we knew
That,
that we needed to come back and, other than the
wasn't it
salary?
something about like
money
the
stuff?
top schedule or some of the definitions at the top? Are we
Oh, we did talk about that.
Mhm.
gonna come back
Let's see,
to some of that?
what did we need to do there? I think we were.
Oh, yeah, that's with the change of the law and everything, that's right.
Mhm.
Trying to make it more, so somebody new pulls it up, like it makes a little bit more sense to them when they're reading through it.
I think the hangup was that we had gotten to this red language because it's exactly what's in the new law,
Right.
the new statute. But we're hung up on the fact that pupil service staff says, but are not involved in the direct instruction to these students. Which is just not accurate. They
Right.
absolutely are involved.
So that was the difference between our
practice
practice
and
and
the
what the statute says for pupil services staff.
Yeah. So to clarify, in our definition of pupil service staff for this negotiated agreement, I mean, we would propose that we just strike that language and keep the definition intact other than the fact that, or other than the statement about them not being involved in direct instruction.
Some of our members, like, because they were, asking about this when we were talking about it later, and the concern is that, is the goal, or is there a possibility down the road they're gonna have, or do we have separate pay scales for our
Well, that.
pupil service staff?
That is one of the reasons why we do want to call them out specifically, is because And I think I mentioned last week
Oh,
that
that's
there are
right,
districts
yeah.
that do have separate pay scales for them. And that's necessary because they're required to have a master's degree to even start on day one. We also spend a lot of money on contracted services because we can't do like a teaching on a prep stipend. We have to provide services that we're obligated to for those students. And so whether we have a person on staff or not, so it behooves us to pay them what it takes to keep them around. So all that said, we want to call them out specifically so that we can clarify a placement procedure for our salary schedule.
So we need to come back to this at some point, right? Is that what, that's what we're thinking?
I mean, for right now, we could take care of the language or we could come back to it, but yeah, whenever we talk about the salary schedule, that is something that we want to bring up.
Well, my other question would be to that, and maybe this is more of a legal thing, I mean, we can call it, hypothetically, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but the law says it is this. So I don't know that we can usurp that and make something contradictory to it, you know, unless we change the name of what we're defining.
I think, yeah, didn't we talk about that last time as far as asking council about this, as far as?
Yeah.
I think somebody
we
suggested
got kind
that.
of stuck on that last time, that's why it's yellow, and we were just,
Right.
couldn't move.
Okay, yeah. Well, I can certainly go back and check with council.
And I've talked to the special education director for the state twice, part of the director's advisory committee, and then just personally emailing her this. She was unaware of this language being added into that, and so she is seeking clarity. The intent, what she believes, is solely around rostered students. So that was the direct instruction, is like someone that would have a roster of students, a classroom. We have caseloads, but these
Right.
do not give grades, so they have rosters. But she's seeking some.
Yeah. Yeah, it's new to everybody, so we're like, what do we do with it? How do we?
Is that because of how our pay formula comes into play? Because if you're not rostered, then, is that
was
what
the-
we're talking
That
about?
was the new
Okay.
kind of,
That's
yeah.
the new stuff that,
That was the question. So I'll make a note to come back to this, revisit this definition when we get clarification from the state. Okay.
That looks like Michelle came last time. But we didn't tag anybody, so maybe I can update, I can't update them. I can, I'm gonna put Jake on here, so that way.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Was that the only thing I see highlighted in the, were there more definitions that we needed to cover, or
No.
that was the only
I
thing?
don't believe so. I think that.
Yeah, I don't see anything else that we talked about coming back to either. Okay. Well, moving forward, that leaves budgetary items, unless I'm missing something that we want to pause on.
There's budgetary items. We do have, I did give Jake some of our items that we came up with as a membership to talk about. And so I don't know how you guys, if you want to jump into, I know obviously we have to get to our salary schedule. We have to talk about dual credit. We have the coaching thing that we need to figure out. And then we do have some other things in the in our list that we can go through. I don't know if we want to tackle, I think there may be a couple in there, if I remember right, that don't have anything to do with money.
Okay.
So I don't, but whatever the group wants to do, we can go any direction.
bring it,
Bring it?
bring it.
Yeah, well, I think the first one, I don't know if, do you have it's on the agenda, I think.
It is. Your topics?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so it's the first bullet point under non-budgetary items.
So these are just kind of things that
Randy, do you want
have
to get
been
on the agenda to the clerk?
talked about this whole year through our membership.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, Jason.
No, it's okay.
So you want me to go, is that not a link?
Yep, you should be able to click on that.
Oh, there we go.
And then the little box in the corner
Oh, there.
with the arrow should take it full screen.
So I have the anti-union bill on top, and like I said, we'll get back to that before we finish, IBB. But one of the things that has really concerned our membership, Jesus, has been for the last 2 or 3 years, and we just haven't gotten to it. But we'd really like to make sure that our RIF policy, we want to recommend that it gets put into the negotiated agreement, just for protection purposes and things like that. It's just one step. So we can just kind of go down the list of what we have and then maybe decide as a group what we want to tackle. You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
We did talk sick leave. We can actually probably strike that out.
Well, it's the one, it wasn't, I'm trying to figure out what the line was. It was something
Section
about.
B needs to be
Yeah.
eliminated.
Yeah, Bill actually, he was reviewing this a while back and emailed me and said we need to put this on the list, so I did. And I think that's where we
I
left
think
it.
it was in the one I was trying to reorganize.
Yeah. I think the reason was because I think it's already in statute, and so we didn't need it. It's in both places everywhere, and so that was the matter of it. But then just going down the list, I'll let Bill work on that.
Okay.
We'd like to talk about 8, just no matter what salary schedule we get to, and I guess this is coming from the transparency of our membership is always looking out for the good of the district as well. And right now our salary schedule, if you look at our salary schedule, if you become a distinguished teacher, you get to advance to cell 14 on our current salary schedule. And you're considered by the state an advanced professional, AP1 they call it. Well, there's 5 different levels of that, AP1, AP2, AP3, AP4, AP5, and with each one of those, the state gives the district more money. But in our current salary schedule, all our people have to do is advance to AP1. They move to cell 14, and then they get to move all the way down, whether they advance to AP2 from the state, AP3, AP4, AP5. So in a sense, our district is going to be losing money because they're going to be paying these people, and it doesn't benefit our people to keep getting distinguished every year to advance from AP1 to AP2 to AP3. All they have to do is meet that first criteria, AP1 in our current schedule, and then they can go down the rest of the 11 more steps to step 25. And then the state wouldn't be giving the district any more money. They'd be giving the district AP1 for that teacher, and that teacher could, in a sense, just be proficient the rest of their career, but still be tracking through the advanced professional run. Does that make sense? Am I explaining that very clearly?
Yeah.
And so we would like to just kind of sure that up no matter what we do, because we feel that those positions, to be considered distinguished, you get more money from the state, the district gets more money, the teacher advances and has made that, but in a sense there's really no reward, and I see that as a loss for the district. Money.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Instead of adding verbiage, would it just make sense to make cell 14 equivalent to AP1, cell 15 equivalent to AP2?
That's exactly what I would do.
Instead of adding the verbiage, we could just update
Yep.
the table if we continue to use that.
That would be my recommendation, yeah. And then anybody who doesn't advance from AP1 to AP2, then there'd be verbiage to say you're gonna just be frozen in that cell, you don't get to advance. And then that way the district's not losing any money.
Michelle and Jeff, I just actually shared the LEA's IBB topics with you again, so you can pull them up. That's what we're going over. I didn't know if you could see or hear any of that. So it should be a link in your email.
Yeah, I pulled it up off the agenda.
Okay.
This?
Thank you, Ramona.
Yeah, I don't know if
I
Jeff
think it
can
was
see
the
it.
one that said you can only use it for, like if you have a, you couldn't use it for like an attachment. Oh, we got rid of it last year. Okay, thanks. Yeah, we can strike out the number 3 sick leave, that was.
We did that last year.
Yeah. So then just going down, so be thinking about the 8, and as we get to the different salary schedules, we'll need to look at that. This has been brought up numerous times over the last few years, as far as bringing back music teacher and elementary teacher. I talked to Jake about it, and there's a lot of reasons why we don't have that. One, they're becoming music teachers they're a hard hire and a hard find. We can't have them. We love those programs. What we are seeing, the problem with it is we are seeing a lack of numbers in our high school music programs and drama programs, and we see it correlating to taking this music away in the elementary. We don't have near as many band kids in the middle school who then in a sense aren't transferring up to the high school, and so the band numbers have shrunk a lot. And so it's not necessarily an IBB item, but just know that, it's one of those deals out there that, band and music and the arts and the drama are so important. If at all, if we ever can get back to passing levies or getting extra funds somehow, we would love to try to really work hard to get those positions back as a priority, because, right now I think our schools are suffering because of it. I've talked to...
And keep right here, man.
Yeah, I've talked to all the music and drama instructors at both high schools, both middle schools, and they all say the exact same thing. It's the minute those got taken away. And we did get creative in our elementaries to where we added like the music and motion for PE, and so we're trying to incorporate it a little bit. But I guess for me, from what I'm hearing, it's more of the band piece, And
What about woodworking?
Yeah, and same thing, all of that stuff. It's that hands-on where I'm afraid that as we move forward in the next 10 years, we're not going to see those CTE kids, because we're not offering those classes, and it's really hard, and it's one of those things that gosh, we need to get back to offering them classes again.
Well, and it's a program that the state provides additional funding for, the CTE.
So maybe just keep that. Jake and I had a great conversation last week about it, and we agreed that we're going to keep it on our radar.
And I agree completely with that goal. Like, that would be a great thing to do, and I think the mission here is really to help the community understand that whenever we go out and ask them for levies, it is those extra programs that are supported by it. And so that'll be a big part of it'll have to be a part of the ongoing conversation with the community.
Yeah, that those extracurriculars and co-curriculars are included in those.
Yeah.
It's not just athletics, that it's those.
And I think it's in our community, it's just that lack of knowledge, lack of communication, to where I don't think they understand that we don't get funds for those classes per se. And so that's extra, like you said. And so I think our community needs to understand the importance of those classes, and I think they do. I think if you talk to any community member, they love the arts, they love all of that stuff. But I think right now the overall attitude or message that they're getting is, well, the school should just be paying for it. Well, we can't pay for it if we don't have the funds. If we're not getting reimbursed by the state.
Exactly.
But I thought it was important enough to bring up and have the conversation at IBB, just to keep the board aware that this is something that we feel is really hurting our schools moving forward, as far as participation and stuff. So I put that on there.
I agree 1,000,000,000%. I'm not too convinced that we cannot offer it, but we'll find out. I think that's a great detriment to the students. And you're right about the community. The community still doesn't understand that we get zero funding for our facilities. so many people still think like we get all this money from the state, you know? But yeah, to not have any kind of music or arts, I don't, especially music. I would choose music over the art, but, just for the students' own development and.
Well, I know I spent many years in the elementary school, and before COVID happened, we actually put out application. We wanted applicants for our music program. We could not get anybody to apply for those positions. So I'm hoping that as time goes on, maybe that'll change. You know, everything comes in waves and.
Well, and sometimes I know that, and maybe some of it's state funded, but maybe that's a hard to fill position and somebody gets a bonus, you know, maybe even a one-time bonus if they get hired for 1 year. Like the first year,
That would be a great
it's a hard to fill.
partnership with U of I. They're, you know, for the student teaching program or even the music students, if we could create some kind of partnership or NIC, then have them come, that really might work, you know, so that we can offer those. You know, we serve as like their student teaching or maybe their project or whatever, and then our kids get music, they get their, maybe we would need to look at something like that to try and fill some of the gaps. You know, because I really would like to see at least the music available. Yeah, we'll have to keep that in mind.
And you know, like I said, Jake and I had a great conversation about we want to keep working towards that as well.
Yeah.
And so that was good. The next one, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just allowing teachers to pay their subs because, like, if their sick leave is depleted, because it would cost them less if they just paid their sub versus that money being taken out of their paychecks because of how the sub pay ends up coming out for the staff member.
I don't know.
Especially if it's depleted.
Yeah. I don't know legally what the implication of that is, but I get what you're saying. I mean, I think there's a lot of things we could get done if we were allowed to do it, you know.
I mean, I'm just wondering, like, if that is a lot, because, like, I don't know, I had to take 4 weeks, I think it was like 4 weeks unpaid because of an emergency C-section when I had a baby, and it would have been a lot better for me had I been able to just pay a sub out of pocket versus having my, what is the daily rate?
The average daily rate's about $350 for teachers.
Okay, so instead pay 120?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge loss to the teacher.
The only potential issue that I see there is just in contract law, if you get to the point where your allowable days are depleted, then that's the only reason why we get to a leave without pay is because now you're not on a 190 contract or a 189, if that makes sense. And so I do think, I mean, I'm with you in spirit, like, I mean, if there were a way that we could do that, that would be great, but I don't know if that's going to be something that we can get around. And then I know that this example is going to be really far-fetched and unrealistic, but I also worry about if we play it out to the extreme and you missed most of the school year, you would still be getting a paycheck for essentially not working at all. You would be like subletting your teaching job to somebody else. And so
Okay. I mean, there would have to be, like, obviously some.
It's a great idea, Jake.
Right, yeah, okay.
Right now, there's no loophole.
What would Percy do with that? That would be my concern.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean,
How does Percy look at that?
There's a lot of ways that we could end up punching holes into this, because then you also have your classified staff as well. And I mean, you could probably put in parameters that it's for catastrophic events similar to what you have in your sick leave bank. Maternity purposes, I think that would end up adding up like big time, because.
And I think this originated because of the catastrophic stuff, you know.
Right.
It was, you know, they're getting punished twice.
And I mean, we have large participation with our sick leave bank, and so they can always tap in to to the sick leave bank if they're a participant. And so,
I think it was, like I was saying, because, like, I didn't feel right, and I think it even specifies, like, for planned things, like having a baby, you probably shouldn't be, even though mine was like, I didn't bring this up, I'm just using it as an example, I didn't plan that. Or I had to go on bed rest, I didn't plan for that, but it kind of comes along with it, so I didn't feel right about depleting the sick bank for something that I planned. Does that make sense? Like versus, so then I could just pay a sub versus having to go to the sick bank and then deplete the sick bank. Because, I mean, I could have probably pushed it, but I didn't feel right about it because it was
What if
planned.
this, yeah, I wonder, I'm just thinking out loud. If the sick bank worked like tokens, and you could, the token had a value, which they do, and then you could purchase the token instead of, you know, or repay the token. I mean, I don't know another word to use, right? Because it does have a value of whatever that day is. I mean, I don't know, it's an interesting thought when you think about it.
Yeah, I can do some more research on this too, you know, as far as like legally and stuff too. I'll put that on my
Yeah,
list.
because I think if it was like a tokenized thing, then it wouldn't, yeah, you'd probably have to give up any kind of earned employment benefit, you know what I mean, like with Percy or things like, if it's available, if that's something, but I know in some instances things are run that way, you know, an employee bank, it comes out like tokenized, then it has the value of that thing and you pay that value so that it's there for others to use. Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay. Then another thing that we had on there, we actually talked about this last year at IBB, at the end of IBB, and then it got, I don't know what happened, but we just thought it was a good idea for, because right now we give an incentive, right, Brooke, for people who announce their retirement early. And we thought, how about honoring maybe the people that have given time to the district and given them, you know, a little bit more, so you can kind of see some of the suggestions there. So something to think about. And then if we go down, number 8 is obviously the extracurricular. This came up on our end too. The first part of the extracurricular, we kind of got into a little pinch this year because of the verbiage on here. It says the first actual sentence, all supplemental extracurricular positions are subject to budget constraints and may not be funded. Our previous superintendent took that he did not have to fund experience steps this year because he said we didn't have the money, and that's not the reason this language was put into the agreement and not what it meant. And so I kind of gave some verbiage, you know, as to, you know, what it actually was there for. It was put in for the sole fact that, you know, student numbers they come in ebbs and flows, and a lot of times if we have a C team for many years, you might get a down year where all of a sudden your numbers are low, but the group behind them is coming up. And so we had it in our negotiated agreement before this current one, that in a case like that C team coach would be retained for 1 year, and he would stay on as an assistant coach, knowing the fact that he would probably regain that position anyway. And the theory and thought behind that was because it's hard to find good coaches. We may lose them to other programs the following year. It's a lot of work going and trying to hire other people, and especially if you know the group's coming down, which most head coaches do. They know if they're going to get numbers from year in and year out usually. So we kept it there. It became a nightmare, an HR nightmare, and so last year we agreed in IBB to put this verbiage in there to basically nullify that. If you don't have the numbers, that coach is eliminated, and you're saving money. So we agreed to that without looking at the possible loss of interpretation or added interpretation to what that statement did. We ended up fixing it. The previous superintendent ended up funding in November. He ended up funding the experience steps for that, so we're all good to go. But what I would like...
What, drinking?
It's hung up.
So what I would like to do is when we start talking about extracurricular language and stuff, I would like to work on this piece so that we don't get into that same trap.
We'll draft some language. that,
I will.
You know, and then
I will.
we'll look at it. But it's definitely is constrained by the budget because unless we have the supplemental levy, there isn't any.
Yeah, but if you have a sport program, the argument was we go off the negotiated agreement, and in the negotiated agreement, if you're coaching at year 7, you automatically go down because it's based on experience to year 8. That was all stopped because of, he said, well, because the budget can't fund it, so I'm going to stop it. And I'm like, no, that's not the reason that was put in there. And so those people should have got their experience step no matter what because in the negotiated agreement it's in there as a step.
Well, we do, we just have to be
So
mindful of the funds for sure.
Yeah.
How do you stop the state from, like last year we had teachers that lost pay because the benefits went up, correct?
Yes.
And then we had teachers that were frozen.
Yeah.
So they didn't get a raise. So is that all the state?
Yeah. Well, it's not what.
Or you don't even get a year of its service.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
wrong.
So that happened last year with creating the new salary schedule, and because anytime you create a new salary schedule, you have to go in and place people accordingly on that schedule. The state obviously had some huge bumps in pay to both the starting pay and the advanced professional. And so some people got huge raises. Other people, the way it worked out in our formula as far as positioning people, there were a handful of teachers, which I don't think we found out until after the fact. We thought everybody was going to get a raise as they were placed, but we did have a handful, just a few teachers that ended up, they got placed in the same cell where they were making the exact same amount of money as they were the year before. But then everything happened budget-wise, and I believe it was the board that ordered no more doing anything with the budget, and so we were told we couldn't place those people after the fact.
But Dave, some of that was due to the fact that they're already making much more than they were bringing in from the state, like like where they were placed.
Right.
Because of their years of experience, and so that was the why.
But some teachers lost money because the benefits package.
And how do you
stop that? You know,
I don't know. We're going to be in the same boat this year because our benefits are going to go up. 19.5% on average. We're working with insurance to come up with our base plans, but it just is what it is. A lot of times your step down isn't enough of a raise to accrue the benefit of the insurance. And
So when we say that it's a budget neutral year, there's no increase from the state, and then always quickly Jess follows up with, so it's a loss. That's exactly what we're referring to, because costs are increasing, but our funding is not.
So what you can do though to combat that is whatever we decide on as far as the salary schedule, let's just say nobody is going to take a cut in pay. What you really have to do is you have to go employee by employee and place them on that schedule and see where they're placed, if it's a new schedule.
Right.
And see where they are so that mistake doesn't happen again. And it's a lot. It's, we have over 700 employees, and but it's doable. We just have to, so that's what we need to think about that when we're talking salary schedules and how much the insurance.
And I don't care how we do it, it just needs to be fair across the board.
It does. And last year the state made it, from the get-go, the state made it not fair because we had people getting almost $9,000, even over $9,000, I think in a couple cases, because they went from the professional rung on the state's career ladder to the advanced rung. And after year 8, they jumped all the way to cell 14 or whatever. And
that was
all of
a
sudden-
mandate from the
And that's
state.
a mandate. The state says they had to make that as a minimum because they were. They were. Yeah. They were considered advanced professionals.
Meeting's over.
So,
I don't know why I did that.
Colleen, it is exactly 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I didn't do that on purpose.
the good news is though, Dave, there is no surprises like that from the state. There are no new amounts that people have to go to, and so when we get to that salary schedule, we can really look at those numbers and, go from there.
With the clarification, if they do move, we still have to meet the minimums for
Yes.
or 1P1 and 8P1.
Yep. Still,
But the jump shouldn't be as dramatic.
Yeah, you're still gonna have people, because you can become an advanced professional distinguished teacher after year 8 of successful teaching. And right now, that's at step 14, so you will have people in this 9th year, instead of going to step 9, they'll jump to 14, so they're gonna get a substantial raise. But you look at that as they've earned it, they've proved it, they are distinguished. And then after that, they'll be just like everybody else. So it's not a great system.
Yeah, we're just thankful that we aren't stuck in a position to pay only what the state funds us.
Right.
That's the thing, because the state does not fund what we pay, you know what I'm saying? There's such a huge gap,
Yeah.
And that's the other thing we struggle with, because, we have to keep people have to be able to live, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it's just,
And then
they're gonna have to do something, because people are tired of levies.
So then the only other thing on our list going down was just, it's extracurricular stuff. It's looking at the coaches, trying to brainstorm some different things. I believe, Dave, you brought it up last time about, maybe adding bonuses, and that's kind of what our people have been saying too, is, let's really look at that and see what, whether we change the salary schedule or not. I think people are aware.
Did we ever find out how many coaches are in the union versus not street coaches?
How many are
Certified versus street coaches?
Yeah, because we were supposed to get those numbers, I think, last time.
We could put a note.
I will have that for the next meeting.
And then the last one, our members, obviously, they knew right away that, because of so much loss in pay last year,
Oh, I can't do this.
with insurance going up even last year, knowing that it was probably gonna go up again this year, they were hoping to raise the allocation. Right now, we pay $860 per employee, and they want to raise it to $880. But again, that's funds, and we'll have to talk about that. But so that's kind of our list, in a nutshell, and maybe we can schedule the next meeting, and then you guys be thinking about where you want to attack, what you want to attack first, and we can do the same or whatever. Because I know you guys had some things too. You have a salary schedule you want to talk about. Obviously, dual credit, I think, was on your list. And then the extracurricular.
Extracurricular was the last thing. If we look at our calendars for next week,
How much longer does this supplemental levy?
We have 1 year.
1 more year?
So we'll have to
Next
go out
year,
in
and then
November
that's
or
it?
May.
Okay.
Great.
Can we just do a forever levy? Can we just
We
do?
don't qualify for a forever.
We
levy,
don't?
no.
No?
One
What
thing.
makes you qualify?
One thing
It's
that.
like your percentage of funding coming from your levy.
One thing that we do as an LEA, and I don't know legally if, they probably can't do this, but it would sure be nice to know, like, whenever we do a ratification vote, we tell all our people, if you're gonna vote no, that's fine, you can vote however you wanna vote, but if you vote no, tell us why, so then that way we can at least work on it. It would be nice if our voters, could do that, or if we could reach out to our voters somehow and just say, what was the reason you voted no, so that we can attack it, because how do we fix it if we don't know? You always hear scuttlebutt, obviously.
Have you heard about that?
Or how about a multiple choice ballot that isn't just yes or no, that
Right,
has,
something.
would you pay, would
Yeah.
you agree to this range,
Right.
this range,
Yeah,
or this range?
well, exactly, because otherwise, how do you know? You're left to pick and choose, and again, I don't do any social media because I refuse, but it's like, you always hear the negative, but is that truly what everybody's thinking? Is that?
Well, I know
I
I
don't-
got a lot of phone calls from people in my area that have been avid supporters of the levies, and they were calling apologetically, all of them retired now, they can't afford it.
Yeah.
And they were very apologetic. They said, you know, and I told them, well, we have the booster clubs, we have, you know, all these other things, you know. And a lot of people don't know about the foundation either. I tried to put that out there too.
Yeah.
But I know that's basically the calls that I got.
Yeah.
You know, and talking to people, they're just.
Did you guys know about the
They're just strapped.
homeowners insurance increases?
No.
So
Yeah.
if you don't live within 3 miles of a fire station, your rates went from $2,000 to $8,000.
Yeah.
So people now, they have a fire levy they just passed. So people are going, no, I'm gonna support the fire levy. I'm not gonna do that though.
Yeah.
So that's a huge increase.
And which
And
is-
then mobile homes, you can't even get insurance on.
Right.
And so, yeah, they're getting canceled.
Well, and don't everybody's tax, so like the fire station is in one zone,
Right.
but doesn't everybody in the county, aren't they all affected by that levy, or is it just
No.
those people?
It has
Is
to
it
be a
just those
manned
people
fire
in that
Yeah.
zone?
Just those.
Just
people.
those
Yeah.
people will go up because that's, okay.
Yep.
Yes, and they rated, speaking of the fire, I forgot about that, because I did just talk to a lady about that, where once you hit 100 in this fire rating, you're no longer eligible for any homeowner's insurance, period. They used to be in an area in Athol that was rated at 50, I think she told me, and they went to 80 this year. If they go up one more rating, they will no longer, and it's a big swath, they're in between Parks and 54th. If that area goes up one more time, none of those people will get insurance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, $1,400 a month is what they have to pay now. So that's why I'm saying the state's got to do something. Especially when it comes to the facilities. I mean, where are you supposed to teach kids if the buildings
Right.
are dilapidated?
Right. Well, and
You know?
to me, it's, you know, and I thought Jake did a fabulous job in his email. You know, he emailed the staff, you know, regardless of how the vote went.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, as the union president, you know, I mean, I'm in our buildings all the time, and these failed levies, our teachers are taking that personally, like our community does not like us.
Yeah.
You know, they
It's
are
not
against
that-
us.
it's not that. I
And
think
Jake
it's-
said that, and he did a great
Yeah.
job in his thing, but that's the overall feeling, and I'm sure the board
Yeah.
is feeling the same way, that, you know, it's a reflection, and it's just so sad, because, again, I'd like to know all the people, you know, give me the reason why you voted no, and it'd be nice if we could set something up or figure that out, so, because we gotta move forward, right? We have supplemental coming up next year, and, you know, it's, I don't know.
Well, the state says they send out all this funding, but like, where does it go?
Yeah.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Well, they get a 5% discount every year because of ADA, so.
I don't know.
That's true. That's
It's
just
frustrating.
from us, by the way. Everybody else usually gets a bigger riff off of their top. Our attendance is pretty good.
Costs us about $2.3 million a year.
88 costs us that?
Depends
Yeah.
how many
What?
districts.
And didn't we talked about it at one point in leadership on, is there a way, like, what are other school districts doing to count kids?
Coeur d'Alene hired a person and that's all they did. That's what I
Chase
heard from
kids.
a.
Yep.
Coeur d'Alene, I did talk to their superintendent about this. Coeur d'Alene is really leaning heavily into the self-directed learner.
That's what, so if you do self-directed learner, it doesn't.
We get 100% of their ADA.
And so maybe we need to look at changing the policy for self-directed learner, because right now you have to have a certain GPA, and maybe we need to eliminate that in policy so that we can count.
Yeah,
I don't know
whatever
if we-
child.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say eliminate, but I'm just saying, like, change it so that we can work with kids that,
Yeah, it mirrors statute pretty closely. Yeah, so there wouldn't be a whole lot that we could change in our policy, but we could definitely change the way that we apply that to, I mean, I imagine that there are students out there that are eligible that are not qualified right now. So if we look at the calendar for next week, what does everybody's availability
I
look
can do
like?
Thursday.
Okay.
Suggestion for Thursday.
I can do Thursday.
I can't do Thursday because I have to be in my building for elementary student showcase.
You do.
Yes.
Okay. We're not here on Monday. You're at Tuesday, Wednesday.
I have family commitments that I would really like to not miss.
Okay. And we have Mountain View graduation on Friday.
Is Wednesday the 27th open?
Yeah.
Does Wednesday work for everybody?
Yeah.
No.
It does not work for us.
Okay.
And
Thursday doesn't work either. So,
are we okay?
Connie, are you okay if we hold it Thursday if you can't make it?
Sure, because I have a school activity that's mandatory for me.
Is there anyone else that can't make it on Thursday next week?
I might be right at 6, I'll be tight, but I can get here when I get here.
does Friday is.
Friday we have graduation.
Oh, yeah.
Graduation.
No, still not showing.
I'll be Thursday.
Yep, I guess we'll do Thursday.
Michelle and Jeff, Thursday?
If that's what it has to be.
Sarah, will you send out that invite again?
Yep.
Okay.
That's done.
Are we concluding the meeting officially?
Do we need thumbs up? Guys,
Yeah.
Are we all good?
I do thumbs up all the time anyway. This is
Yeah,
really
but I don't know if we're
throwing me off.
Okay, 8:11 and we'll call the meeting order.
Adjourn.
Adjourn, yeah.
Thank you, Ramona.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Good call, Sarah. Thank you.
Travels, you guys. Oh, yeah. I'd be happy to.